Hey, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Bandai Perfect Grade Millennium Falcon model build series. So if you watched last episode, you will remember that I had covered this lighting on the underside of the Falcon. The landing lights, the caution lights, the ramp light, also the engine lighting, and the lighting for the gunner port. So moving on, I'm going to get into lighting the corridor, the inner corridor at the top of the ramp. And my customer sent this 3D printed corridor, which I have painted in a fine gray primer by Tamiya. And it's got little square holes in the back for the wall sconces, which I'm going to light. And they just fit in the back here. And these are the sconces here, these square pieces which fit into those square holes in the back wall. And to start, I'm going to use some Tamiya metallic gray, and I'm going to paint the floor of the corridor first. Give it kind of a dark metal look to it. And you can see how that turned out here, which you won't be able to see in the finished model anyway. So then I've gone through with some wooden deck tan and just painted the cushions throughout the entire corridor, and there's a lot of cushions to be painted for sure. So just using a steady hand and a fine brush, just go around the entire interior of the corridor at the top of the ramp and paint the cushions until you have them all painted up like so. And then I also went through and I painted that little cutout section on the right there where the cushion was ripped out. Painted in some of the piping and such like that. So now we're ready to take the sconces, and we have one of the square sconces here, and then it just fits right into the square hole in the back like so. And it fits really nice and flush against the cushion there, you can see. And then you'll also notice there's these little teeny parts here which go in the very center of the square part of the sconces. So I'm going to take some Tamiya X-25 clear green, and I've painted the ends of the sconces clear green so that light will shine through and just give them a slight green tint. And then I've painted the little tips that go in the center with a German gray. And I've taken all three of them and put them in place, and I'm just going to go around and glue them into position. I've also gone around the entire piece with black electrical tape for light blocking and blocked the entire thing out. And here you can see the sconces in the cushions in the wall. And if I throw a little bit of light into the back of them, you can see how they look lit up. So my next step, the corridor piece goes right here at the top of the ramp. My next step is I need to light the floor. So I've done some markings here with the pen, marking area that needs to be cut out right here so that I can put some LED strip in there to light up the bottom floor here. And then I have this little strip of 4 LEDs that I'm going to use to light up the underside underneath the floor of the corridor ramp. Got a couple of my wires coming out here, and I bent the ends up so it'll fit inside that little hole that I've cut out. And then I'm just going to take the LED strip and just drop it down right inside here like so. It fits in there perfect. And then that will give it light to illuminate the floor, perforated floor holes of the corridor. And here you can see it lit up, and then I can just drop the corridor floor. And you can see the little holes there, the floor lit up, and it's illuminating the interior of the corridor there a little bit as well, just coming through those holes. Then I've gone and I've used electrical tape on the very bottom and my liquid electrical tape around the edges for light blocking because it's a lot of light there. Put the LED strip back in place, secured it permanently, flip it on, and then check the underside of the Falcon, and I don't see any light leaking anywhere. There was a little bit before I put the tape and liquid electrical tape in there, but now it's totally blocked. Next up, my client also provided a couple of 3D printed figures, R2-D2 and C-3PO here, and he wants to have those placed at the top of the ramp inside the corridor. So I've gone and I've painted R2 with a Tamiya white primer, and I painted 3PO with the Army Painter black primer. And then I've gone on and I've painted them by hand, gold and the blue around R2, and while not perfect, it's extremely small, and I've glued them into position inside the corridor here. So I've glued the corridor into position in the belly, got my LED down here to light the floor, a little strip here to light up the sconces, and then kick on a little light here, and then I covered it up with some more electrical tape to block all that lighting from the strip that will illuminate the back of the wall sconces. It's a lot of light to be spilling out of there. And here we have a test of how it looks with R2 and 3PO at the top of the ramp with the lighting. And the right side by 3PO seems a little dark to me. So I have a 2mm white, cool white LED here, and what I've done is I've gone and I've hot glued it inside the Falcon here. It'll illuminate that right side just a tad. And then I've covered that up as well with some more electrical tape just for light blocking purposes. Of course, this light here is for the gunner port. And here you have it fully lit up, and it just gives a little more illumination there on the right hand side to see 3PO nice and clean and clear. So that'll do it for this episode of the Falcon build. I hope you enjoyed it. Next time I'll be doing the cockpit and finishing up the top of the Falcon, and then we'll be done. So thanks again for joining me. Give them a like. And so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos, click subscribe.